Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage. We are doing another week in the life of. So last week was our Carlisle madness, and everything went very smoothly. And if you didn't check last week's week in the life of, we showed a little bit of Carlisle and everything going on. Kind of ended last time's video. I had some visitors coming from Sweden, which did a little visit yesterday, which was Saturday, and I started a little bit of loading the car for the swap meet. So it's Sunday morning. We're starting a week in the life of this week, and I am basically all loaded this morning, about to head out for the swap meet. So taking the 38 convertible for the Lehigh Valley Model A Club meet. Always a good time. It's a smaller show, but getting the sunlight. Get out of the sunlight, aim it at us so you guys can see. There we go. So taking the 38 convertible, and as you can see, this thing is, I'm not super packed, but definitely packed up a little bit. I got a bunch of garnish molding that's like Briggs and slant window and stuff like that I'm gonna blow out. There's a bunch of randomness. Put a bunch of stuff in the back seat here. So always fun going to that show. So I'm gonna hop in the car. My dad's coming. I think my nephew might come with too. So it should be a good time, and that's what we're going to do. And otherwise, we're going to work on the 32 two-door sedan, try to get that engine running this week. Fingers crossed, maybe get that engine back in the car, which will be really fantastic. And who knows what else is going to get into. Bike's, of course, going to have a ton of catching up to do on packages and all that stuff. But either way, the weather is getting warmer, a lot more driving cars, having fun, going to swap meets, digging for old stuff. You never know what we're going to get into this week. And let's get started. It's Sunday.
Cold and windy today. Hey, that's damn right I'm bending. I don't know.
Yeah, you are.
Buddy.
All right, today is Monday. I got a lot of work to do. We have both trailers back, so we need to work. I think we're just gonna unload the enclosed trailer today. This afternoon, our helper Ryan's coming in, so we'll get that emptied this afternoon. My job for this morning is shipments. I think there's like 60 items I need to ship. A bunch of it's in the trailer because it was at Carlisle, but we put it off to the side as soon as it's sold, so it's at the tail of the trailer. Need to get that out, then walk around and just pull all the other items that's sold. So busy day or two for me. We got to unload both trailers, get everything ready to go. Guys coming to pick up this 34 tomorrow. So at the end of the day, I'm going to try and move some stuff around to get this right at the door. That way when he comes to pick it up, it's just roll it out and onto his trailer. Not a lot of extra moving or jockeying going on. So get to work. Got a lot of stuff to send out the door and move around. Hey, Moondog.
What's that?
Hey.
Ooh, what's this? Ooh, Uline. Yeah, what you got?
That's what you get for spending $300 at Uline.
Yeah.
Moon's got a new outside chew toy.
Give him about 5 minutes. You might.
What you got? Bring me that. Bring me that here. Let me see.
Mike,
Let me see.
Mike, check your shoes.
Oh, I know. I stepped in the oil. Oh, no!
Oh, sorry, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Bring here.
I'm not doing it. So it's Monday, and I am driving the 38 convertible. Now the weather's nice. Start driving some of these cars every day, like we talk about. So I'm cruising over to the glass shop. I got a call last week while we were at Carlisle that the glass for the Merc is done. So taking the convertible over 38, and Mike and Ryan are unloading the trailer. I had to unload this thing first because it was full of all the parts from the Model A swap meet. So I got that emptied out. Got a bunch of stuff done. So we're gonna take a cruise some back roads, get the glass, and get back to the shop. Just got home, and everything went well. Got all my glass in the back seat, so we got all our brand new glass cut off of our patterns. And when I got there, the gals at the desk are like, "Wait, how are you getting this home? Like, do you have is it going to be okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's got a big back seat." So they luckily very nice there. They gave me some bubble wrap, and I had my long sleeve flannel in there. So got everything home in the car. Believe it or not, this is probably the safest place for it to sit till I install it, because upstairs here, not a lot's going on. So we're going to leave it in there, and then maybe later this week, I might try and do the windshield. We'll see how everything goes this week.
What'd you buy? What'd you buy?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
I forgot what you bought too till I started unpacking
Yeah,
all
so
of it.
you went through and laid everything out nice enough. Did not go crazy this year at Carlisle buying, just kind of some trinkety stuff and whatever came across their path. But I actually didn't hunt as hard as I've done other years. So,
Me too.
So we'll start here. Mike laid it all out. I thought there was 2 of these.
It's up. The other one's upstairs.
But I bought 2 Chevy clock glove box lids. For whatever reason, the theme for me this year for Carlisle was I was buying 30 Chevy parts. I guess because it was fresh in my brain from all the Oklahoma stuff. I bought some Chevy stuff. It was like jumping out at me for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I got this glove box lid. There was a second one. They're accessory or an upgrade. These are kind of cool. Our friend Patty and Tim they were selling and they found these. She's been selling a bunch of her dad's stuff for years. She found like a whole stack of these. They're like, I guess for returning something or like a warranty claim, but old Ford Motor Company. Just neat, stupid stuff to put on the shelf. That they're not really worth much, but I grabbed 4 of them, which was cool. Little carb adapter. We always grab these. It's like a single barrel to Strongberg style adapter. It says Chevy on it, but they fit like all different ones. So just stupid, cheap, whatever stuff. Guy had a bunch of like brand new old vintage switches and stuff. So these are 2-prong push button starter switches. So the early Ford switches in the dash, they're positive ground and they're only 1 prong. So you can't really easily use them when you convert to 12 volt and negative ground. So you need these 2-prong ones. So I got a bunch of different push button switches. So those, and then he had one of these. This is what I have in the DeLorean Roadster. This is like, I think it was used on airplane and helicopter originally, military, but it's
like
a
Vietnam era, roughly, I remember correctly.
Yeah, something, maybe even earlier. They used similar deals, but this, the part number, at least on the one I had, was that. But anyways, it's a kill switch, very, old school style looking, and with being like old military surplus, fits the bill when you're doing a old hot rod. So we have this in the floor on the DeLorean car, and this is how you shut off the power. I'm trying to do that on more of these cars, shut the power off when the car is stored for the winter or whatever. So dumb little thing. Got a couple of these new old stock gas door guards, just little stuff we sell that we saw laying around. I think there was a whole stack of these. I just grabbed 2 that had the box. Chevy 37-ish?
I think so.
37 Chevy horn button. Again, it came with a bunch of the Chevy stuff like this. So radio block off, I believe. Got another one of these. I don't know how I found so many of these. It was $3.
You have an insane amount of those.
I don't. We might sell this one because I have a bunch, or I may keep it. I don't know. But this is a little sword for your. It was like a Cal Custom thing. You cut your dipstick handle off, and then you put this on, and it looks like a sword in your engine. So kind of neat. This is a Mike purchase. He found this old chrome oil filter, which is just something that people ask us for a lot. The chrome is tempting for me to keep it myself.
It's actually really nice chrome.
It is nice. I bought this. This is a cool old aftermarket from back in the day steering arm. Some of them were made out of the stick plate, and then somebody had it chrome. They may have been an optional chrome out of the Hot Rod magazine, but this is just the stuff I like looking for because when you're putting an old style hot rod together, I mean, this is it.
Never hurts to have them on the shelf.
Yes, anything old chrome. I have drawers upstairs of old chromes. I go through and dig through like a little troll and pull my chrome out. This was a neighbor of ours at Carlisle. He cut up a 40 or 41 Chevy sedan delivery and made it into some kind of custom thing or whatever. So he had leftover original parts. Good scenario. He didn't want them. They were cheap. I wanted them so we could sell them. So this is a seat for a sedan delivery. It has the hinges on the bottom to flip up, or maybe a panel as well. It works. So grab that. That was in good shape. These are always good. Usually they're missing the fabric and you just have the frame. So they're always missing when guys are doing those restorations and whatever. I think that came from the same vehicle. That's just extra. Got this from the guy that had all the switches and stuff. This is pretty interesting if you're nerdy about this stuff. So this cap is in its factory application. This is the cap, one of the style of caps that the Kong distributor would use. So Kong Jackson had an early dual coil distributor. It was one of the most popular, real early Dry Lakes era hop-up distributors. either that or taking the V12 Zephyr, and they would turn it into a V8 distributor with dual coils. But what he was famous for doing was taking stock distributor caps of whatever type and then building a batch of distributors off them. Probably the most popular is this style cap. I think Lincoln K model or something like that uses this, and then also like Packard or Duesenberg might also kind of use the cap. But he had this brand new, I think it's actually a new old stock distributor. So this is meant to be dual coil. And it's kind of neat. So I was wondering, I grabbed the old distributor because for what it cost, I think it was $100 he wanted for it. I figured just the cap alone to have a spare cap, because I have a bunch of Kong distributors. I don't know if I have enough caps. So I thought, hey, it might be kind of cool if you could make a right angle drive and fit this whole thing in, much like they did with the Nash distributor. But either way, the cap was worth it. I love this little knob. I don't have that. I might steal that.
I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah, it's super cool. So I'm tempted to steal that. But either way, whether we use it for just a cap on a Kong or the distributor as a whole. This was cool. Another reseller got it. I see at auctions and stuff. He has a big booth, kind of like we do, with a lot of good stuff. He had this sitting there, and I grabbed it. It's some kind of old boat. It's a Turbo Craft, I think is what it says. Super cool, heavy cast aluminum frame with this little panel that's like pinstripe panel with the gauges in it. Really, really neat. It was affordable. I think it was $125 or something.
I think that's what the tape said I tore off.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, very affordable. So I just grabbed it for myself because to put this in the cabinet when we're building a car. My buddy Nick has a car that he built with one of these, and it looks really sick. He opened up all the holes and put a set of Stuart Warner twin blue gauges in it. Looks phenomenal. So anytime you can find a neat old gauge panel with the insert and the panel itself, it's good to grab because you can make it fit whatever dash. So that'll get put in my gauge cabinet for a rainy day. I bought this, $5. This is a 63.4, I believe, Mopar, like the square or rectangular wheel that they had on those cars. It's pretty rough, but I know that those wheels can bring big money when they're redone or in good condition. So I figured for $5, probably just sell it to a guy that, you know, wants it. We have some of the guys that redo wheels will buy these for cores and they keep them on the shelf. So if a customer calls and wants it, if we can't sell it for more than $5, I will just put it on the shelf. And if I ever want to do a car with one of these wheels, I have a core. So we had a guy this year. Every year we have people walk into our booth, and we've turned into like a pawn shop sometimes. So we have people that are going to the show, know we're going to be there. We're near the gate, first gate one. They will just bring stuff from their garage and be like, hey, you want to buy this? And I feel like a pawn shop some days because they're like trying to gather money to buy trinkets for themselves at the show. It's like
we're selling parts and also buying parts in the same like money transactions.
So when this guy showed up, I was like selling parts and then I was handing him money at the same time. Like I think I just traded these things. So I believe it's 37 Cadillac. He said that he had a cab business, and there was a 37 a taxi business, and he had 37 Cadillac taxi / hearse, I think, that he might have said came with the business, and he sold the business, he sold the car for big money, and this was sitting like in the building. So he brought it for me, bought that, we'll just resell it. It's actually in really good shape. None of the die cast is broken on it. Obviously for a restoration you need to have it re-chromed or whatever, but it's most importantly, it's not broken. So I bought that. We'll just pass it along, make a couple bucks. These are cool. These are NAMSCO, NOS NAMSCO hubcaps that are in the box with the instructions from J.C. Whitney that are really, really neat. I've never really seen a set of these. They're 15-inch. Still got the paper on them. But they were pretty cool. They weren't super cheap, but I figured I'd grab them because I'd never seen them before. And again, when they're brand new, that's always nice. So whether I use them or we pass them on to somebody, they're
super cool design.
Yeah, really neat design I've never seen before. Mike bought this. This is Hemi, half a Hemi to that adapter.
Yeah, half of a Hemi adapter, Krager.
Yeah, pretty cheap. So Mike grabbed that. And
it's Hemi to early Ford.
Yeah, so
there's someone that's looking for the top half.
Top half. It was affordable enough for this. We may even come across it. This somebody I know brought this for me actually, and I made a deal. He bought a lot of 32 stuff, and he hit me up like months ago over the winter and was like, hey, you need any 32 stuff? And I said, well, I'm piecing together a junky Roadster. I got all these pieces sitting around. So I agreed to buy it. Well, fast forward to just recently where I had an epiphany and I'm selling off my pieced together crap and just selling the parts. I sold like most of those parts, but I wasn't going to back out of the deal. So I bought it from him. We'll sell it, maybe make a couple bucks, but I just, you know, it is what it is. But it's original 32 Roadster quarter, actually in decent shape, just a little crispy at the bottom there, but why not? So if somebody needs that, we'll be selling that because I'm trying to just have complete cars right now. That's my current state of mind. We'll see what happens in
6 months. We'll be like, God damn it, why'd we sell all those parts?
Yeah, I know. So our guy across the way from us, there's a booth. It's
Midwest Ford?
Midwest Early Fords or Midwest Ford. They do a lot of F1 stuff, but they do all kinds of reproduction and new parts. They do sell a little bit of used parts, but mainly new parts. What I like about these booths when I go to a lot of these shows is you go to their booth because a lot of times they get used parts or original parts from, much like us. I think people come to them because they buy their reproduction parts and say, hey, do you want to buy these? So I walked by their booth with like a whole bunch of crap walking in, and I walked in, everybody was hanging out, and I like threw my stuff down and disappeared, and they're like, what?
Yeah, with a tape measure too. There's also a wheel.
I got a tape measure, and I'm like, all right, be back. So they had a bunch of wide fives that are original. They had one that was a 3.5, a V860. I bought that. And then they had this original 32 stuff or old hot rod stuff. So this is an original bar that was dropped and chromed, and they left the stainless on and chromed over the stainless, I believe, which is pretty neat. But an original drop 32 bar is always cool, especially when it's chrome. Headlights were on it, which is cool. And then they also had these with it, probably off the same car. So original front spreader bar with the 32 license plate mount that's chrome. Neat.
I know where that's going.
Where?
Upstairs.
Yeah, all this. These are all going upstairs. And then this is a bar that somebody took. I guess this was probably, I don't know, they must have made this, but you could tell it was done back in the day and chromed.
Yeah.
You know, the welds on it are great, but it's old chrome. It's nice because it's a straight bar, so if you're taking the spare tire carrier off, this is what you're usually looking for. A lot of times I just buy repro ones and put them on, but this one being old chrome, now we have a whole set of stuff for a car.
I wonder if they had a license plate mount in the middle of that.
That's what it kind of looks like. So pretty neat. They were affordable. I forget what the stuff was, but it wasn't real expensive, especially for what chrome is. Then I also bought, there was an original front spreader bar with a plate mount. I believe Brian that bought the green Roadster, the ruined Roadster, he lives in New York, so he needs to run a front plate. So I had promised him we would find him a front plate holder. So here we go. We'll pull this off. It can be painted black, and he can bolt it right on that car, which is good. And then we'll sell the other front spreader bar to somebody. This was cool. I walked past this, and then again, I was in a Chevy state of mind, and the guy had kind of written on it what it was, but he wasn't sure. And it dawned on me, I saw the shape of it, and now having a sedan delivery and me looking at old photos of all the different Ford sedan deliveries, not necessarily Ford or a 34 like mine, but other years, they had what I guess they call it a step-through bumper, where it's actually bent like this or shaped so you could get closer to the rear. With the rear door open, you can get in and get the stuff. I knew it wasn't Ford, but I thought it was Chevy, and I just went and bought it on a hunch because it was very cheap. And we did the research. I think it's 37 or
37, 38, yeah, somewhere around
sedan delivery, which is, you know, obviously very rare. They don't reproduce it. So that was a good buy. The guy just had it with a bunch of rusty other bumpers, just cheap, that he must have found somewhere. So I'm sure he was happy because something big went,
Yes.
and then we got something that's pretty rare. We'll pass it on to somebody that's looking for that. So that was very cool. Oh, this was again from our neighbor. Got to talking. We talk about a lot of swap meets in our podcast and stuff like that. I always have a conversation with you. I don't just buy something and run out of a booth. I try and do the pleasantries. So talking to the guy that I bought that seat from, again, I got to talking, what are you working on, whatever, and he said about the sedan delivery he took apart. He said, actually, I think I have the door at home for that thing. It's not in bad shape, I just didn't use it. So he said, I'll bring it tomorrow for you, live locally. So first thing the next morning, I came over and saw him. Had original sedan delivery for 41 up, I think.
I think 41 to 48 are the same.
Chevy delivery door. It's a little dented up at the bottom. Taillight's broken, but like very hard to find.
It's complete too, which is insane.
Yeah, it's got all the...
And that's what, these are door tins too for the jam.
Yeah, that's all goes around. But like, you know, these doors, garnish molding, all that stuff. So anything sedan delivery is so rare. Now again, if you're... We know the stuff going into it. We might sit on it for 3 years to find somebody that needs it. But so hard to find. We're in the business, the parts business, so for us, we don't mind sitting on it for 3 years because eventually the right guy will need it. But sedan delivery stuff's so hard to find. I don't.
Yeah.
Now I have one, and I realized how hard it is to find any sedan delivery for any maker. It's worth grabbing. So we grab that, and we'll pass that on to somebody.
And your final.
So my retail purchase of the week was this. This guy was set up right behind some of our friends, Ron, Patty, and Tim. They are like right across the road from us, and we always walk. All of us walk back and forth between our booths and hang out. So I was walking over to just visit them one day, maybe Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
And this was laying underneath like a sign guy's truck. A lot of the sign guys, they only show up for a day or two or whatever. He showed up, he had like 2 or 3 signs, but he was nowhere to be found. And I actually thought it was our friend Ron had bought it to resell because he's into signs. And I walked up to him and just joking. I said, "How much for the freaking Lincoln Mercury sign you scored for $1?" And he goes, "Actually, it's not mine. It's the neighbor across the way." So I waited around. They showed up. They bought it at an auction. There's actually an auction number sticker on the back of it. Probably bought it at an online auction or somewhere, which I don't care. Again, we talk about it a lot. We resell, but I'm also happy to buy retail if it's something I really want. So this was fairly expensive, I thought. The guy was asking $1,000. I think I ended up getting it for 8 something.
I think that's what you said.
8 something I got for it, which I know if you're not into old signs and old shit, that sounds like a lot of money. But if this sign was complete, I think it probably used to say Ford, Lincoln, Mercury with all the logos. It would probably be like a $10,000 sign or something.
And the letters are also smalts.
Yeah, they're reflective on them. Very cool with the Mercury man on it. Like, it's just a neat sign. I've never seen another one. So our friend Ron had a good idea of maybe modifying the sign a little bit, cutting some of the white off, taking some old like barn wood or old wood, making a frame for it to hang it up so it's a little more like, you know, nice looking, and just display it as it is. But with how expensive signs are to find like kind of a one-off Ford, Mercury, Lincoln sign, I had to have it. It's different. I didn't really buy anything expensive all week to like.
That was pretty. I think that was the most expensive times like 10.
Yeah, everything I was buying this Carlisle was very affordable. $20, maybe $100, but everything else was just like pretty affordable. I think that the quarter panel was a little more, but that was at the time. But still, it was definitely by far the most expensive thing. But so that's my one like definite like keeper that I spent money on. Otherwise, we might have actually been in the green this year.
Definitely in the green.
Because we were both reserved on buying this year, and we sold a lot. So for once, we might have been in the green. By the time we went home, we actually made money, believe it or not.
There was probably actually less in the trailer than we took too. Normally we buy probably just as much as we sell.
Yeah, that's very true. So.
Alrighty, so Matt and I went over to our old warehouse space. Today, next couple days are the end for everyone. I think in like 2 days they're cutting it off. Can't get anything else out of there. So we went back and recovered all of our tin that was stashed in the corner. I returned our trailer that we unloaded yesterday to our buddy. Stopped in there and I grabbed a bunch of carts. We had like flat metal carts, plastic, like bin carts. We have a couple here, and we have been kind of holding off on moving some of that stuff because we weren't sure if we were gonna have space for it. We're working on some things for additional storage, so we wanted to grab them before they got thrown away. When we were there, I grabbed our pallet scale. Unfortunately, some kids broke in there and damaged a bunch of stuff, cut all the cords on it, so hopefully I can find a replacement cord for it. But in the one building, one of the tenants had moved out a couple weeks ago. There was a bunch of these hanging in the building. These are porcelain coated vintage fluorescent lights. They were made in St. Louis, Missouri. Day bright lighting. They have a really killer, kind of hard to see, logo right there. We got like 10 or 15 of them. They were just hanging in their area. They moved out already, so we went back through and grabbed this stuff because the company that bought the building told us it's all going to get thrown away. So we went in and saved some stuff. We might go back after the cutoff and save some more stuff. There were some things left behind by some other tenants that we might be interested in, so we might go back. But I gotta unload. We're gonna keep the tin in here for now. Working on a place to stash that.
This is the repair garage, or the old mobile station in my town here that the museum actually purchased and restored, and now the volunteers and the crew actually work on, maintain, fix up everything you can think of. Cars in the collection, cars that are donated and maybe are getting auctioned off, whatever. But basically anything that happens with the museum repair work right now is going on in here. And you can see this car looks a little familiar. The guys in the shop actually have one of our calendars there. That's pretty cool.
All right, so that's the end of our very busy week. Matt got to enjoy some nice weather at the end of the week for some local car shows. The Boyertown Museum is now doing a show the first Friday of every month, just like a cruise-in. Matt got to take his boring cars. Super nice weather for it. We've been slowly making a dent in all the Oklahoma stuff. Anyone that's sent an email looking for stuff, we're working on it. There's just so much to go through. Every time you find one, you find 10. You got to put it all away. So we're slowly getting through it. It's just a lot of work. The smalls haven't even touched. So if you're looking for small bits and pieces, it's going to take us a while. Appreciate it. Next week, we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There's a lot going on. This is our busy time of the year. This week and next week are just absolutely crazy. So thanks guys for watching. We appreciate it. See you next week.